Okay, so in this video we're just going to talk about protein and why it's important and why we need to, for most people, need to include more in their diet. So protein is one of the fundamental macronutrients. So macronutrients are energy sources for the body, and we have protein, carbs and fats. Alcohol is one as well. But protein, they all have different nutritional properties. So they give us different nutrients and serve different purposes for the body. Now, the reason that we talk about protein a lot is because in terms of the macronutrients, it gives us so much in terms of health and in terms of the key qualities in terms of for nutritional properties as well. And I know a lot of people, protein kind of gets a little bit of stigma in terms of people think that it's one of those things that only bodybuilders need to eat, and that bodybuilders need to eat tons and tons of it. When in fact actually it's really important for health, and most people don't eat enough protein, and so I'm just going to explain a few of the reasons why we do want to include more protein in our diet. So protein is key in helping to build soft tissue. So the reason that it's really good when we're trying to build muscle is that when we train, when we do strength training and resistance training, we actually tear the muscle fibres, and then when we rest they repair and they grow back stronger. And it's protein that helps that happen, so protein synthesis. But that isn't just for building muscle if we've been in the gym. Like anything that you do, so if you get an injury or a cut, then your body needs to repair that wound, and it does that with the aid of protein. So building the soft tissue. If someone's been poorly or ill or had an injury, then actually increasing their protein intake can actually help them heal quicker. And also, while I'm on the point, so quite often if people get injured, sometimes it can be down to or due to a low intake of protein. So if we increase their protein intake, it can help prevent injuries as well. So it gives us healthy hair and skin. So again, the soft tissue, it gives us healthy hair and skin. So that's another reason to include more protein in our diet. The retention of muscle. And so this isn't just when we go to the gym and if we want to build visible muscle, bodybuilders, if we want to get stronger for sports performance, but just in general life. So a lot of people find that they're, weaker. A lot of women find that they're weaker, especially in their upper body. And so by eating more protein, we retain more muscle, and especially as we get older, when we tend to we don't necessarily lose muscle, but we lose the strength in our muscles and things. So eating a higher protein diet can help us retain our strength in our muscles and retain muscle, which then has loads of other health benefits, can affect things like coordination and balance and various things as well. Our immune function. So again, eating more protein is going to help you have a better immune function. And a lot of people probably only eat maybe half of the recommended guidelines when it comes to protein. And so people find that they may be getting ill, maybe picking up colds more, picking up viruses and those kinds of things, whereas if we include more protein in the diet, then that helps reduce the risk of that happening. And then in terms of specifically if we're dieting, if we're trying to lose weight, so protein is the slowest digesting of all the macronutrients, which means that when we eat it, it takes the longest time to digest. If you think of like a piece of meat, like a chicken portion or a steak, it's quite a dense food, it's quite tough. It's quite tough when we try and eat it, so our stomach acid has to digest that as well. And so that takes some time. And so the benefits of that in terms of for losing weight means that we are fuller for longer. So this is why we always go on about having high protein meals, because it takes longer to digest, which means we feel fuller for longer, which means we're less likely to then reach for something else because we're hungry or we're craving food. And also in terms of satiety, so it makes us feel satisfied. It makes us feel like we've had something to eat, that we've had something substantial to eat as well. So this is why we quite often recommend eating protein at every meal, not only because it helps in terms of building muscle and stopping us getting injured and making us stronger and helping us perform better, but also it's going to keep us fuller for longer as well, which means that we can eat slightly less calories if we're in a deficit. We can train a little harder to burn more calories and to build strength and to build fitness, and the two together can be a really good combination. And then the last point is the thermic effect of food. So this is TEF, thermic effect of food. Now this is only a small thing, it only plays a small part, but it does play a part. So when we eat protein, because it takes so long to digest, our body has to do it's a big process. If you ever had one of those meals, you have a big meal, could be made of carbohydrates and fats and proteins. You have a really big meal and then you get really, really tired afterwards and feel like you need to sleep. That's because your body is having to put all of its effort and all of its energy into digesting all of that food to work its way through it. So it doesn't have any energy for anything else, so it makes us want to go to sleep. So when we eat protein and high protein foods, our body has to work to digest that food, and so that actually uses calories. So again, like when someone's trying to lose weight, don't get me wrong, it's not loads and loads of calories, but over a period of time, if you're eating it at every meal, then the compound effect of that can help aid results.